Acceptable Use Policy by Connie Lozada. What is an acceptable use policy? It is a description of a school's policy for acceptable use of technology. It is meant to protect the students, staff, equipment, and district from inappropriate use by all parties. Its purpose is to notify staff and students of what they can and cannot do with the school-issued technology and on the school's network. Why does a school need an acceptable use policy? It outlines district expectations for technology use, defines what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior, such as policies about plagiarism, visiting non-school related websites, cyberbullying, harassment, and intimidation. Critical features of an acceptable use policy. Some features are the description of instructional philosophies and strategies in terms of incorporating technology. The acceptable policy should list teacher, parent, and student responsibilities for technology use. Education World suggests having policy statements such as the internet is a privilege and guidelines to acceptable and unacceptable use of the internet. A description of consequences is also critical and should fit the infraction. Finally, a signature form should be provided to assure all parties have read and understand the policies and procedures. The Paterson Public Schools Student and Staff Acceptable Use Policy. The policy can be found on the district website in the student and teacher pages. Both documents provide the instructional philosophies for incorporating technology, explains the educational use and the advantages to incorporating the internet in learning and becoming digital learners and citizens. They both highlighted the responsibilities of the users and list examples of acceptable and unacceptable use of the internet. Paterson Public Schools acceptable use policies also provide a description of the consequences. A statement of the technology being a privilege is provided in both documents, along with the statement to maintain a safe and secure online environment and monitoring activities. Both acceptable use policies provide a signature form to be turned to the school as an acknowledgement of the policies and procedures. Sharing or communicating an acceptable use policy with staff, students, and parents. All acceptable use policies should be easily available on the student and teacher portal on the school district website. All acceptable use policies should be a part of the student and teacher handbook. This way, both ensure that the policy is readily available and accessible at all times. Implementing an accessible use policy to students. Teachers should create lessons that include digital literacy and citizenship on a consistent basis. Teachers should model using digital tools and demonstrate online best practices. Teachers should also model safe and ethical technology use for students. Discussing and helping families create guidelines for media use at home can help students and parents practice safe digital learning skills. Implementing the teacher's accessible use policies. Professional development should be provided in order to model and promote proper access to digital tools and online best practices and proper and improper use of technology. Acceptable use policies should be made easily available and visual at all times